All right, it's 9 o'clock. Let me call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda for today's meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of approving the agenda as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The agenda is approved. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from our March 27th meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve said minutes.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the March 27th meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The minutes are approved. Next item is public comments. Before we go to public comments, since I've been handing out the duty of taking minutes, and I've not volunteered myself to do that, I will do that today. Okay.
All right, I can do it.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. All right. Well, then fine. I mean,
I'll give it to you next meeting.
if I didn't have to serve a dual role, then
We'll delegate it to you next meeting.
okay. Well, thank you, George. All right, George, we'll be taking the meetings on that. So, seeing nobody here with regard to public comments, since nobody's there, I will close the floor for public comments and move on to the next item, which is a review of the OPVFD reserve funding. Just an FYI that we had put in a request to see if we could get that information, basically just to check and see that the fire department was making their monthly contributions to the reserve fund as designated by the MOU. That information hasn't gotten back to us yet. So what I'd like to do is just, we'll just continue to wait for that information to become available. If need be, I'll put it on the agenda for next month. Any questions, concerns, anything you want me to do with regard to getting that information?
I assume the fire department's still working on it. Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, I guess just trying to want to understand. I haven't talked to John today. I talked to him on Sunday. He said that the request was in, and obviously they haven't gotten it back to us yet. So I guess, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They're probably looking for the, for that information. So again, per the MOU, that's what we had decided, a while ago. Actually, it was Brian, I think it was you, me, and Dick met with them. Was it back in September of this past year to go through that? And they agreed that they made it right. They all said that they were fine with it and they were moving forward the way we had suggested. So we're just kind of doing a follow up on that. And at some point, it's probably premature for me to say this now, but at some point, Dick and I had a conversation, and I've also had a conversation with others about taking another look at the MOU for the fire department. At some point, that's going to have to come into play, and I think it's going to be predicated on any change in the status of ownership of the land and the building. So that's it's in there. It's a potential to-do list. Timing wise, I have no idea, because if nothing's going to change, then maybe we start it now. If something's going to change, and we target it and align it with any potential changes that are going to be made in that area. So
I guess, is there a drop dead date for any of this stuff? Like you have to have it by the end of?
the only drop dead date that I'm aware of is when Senator Carrozza and Delegate Hartman got the money from the state. It has a lifespan, and that money has to be spent by a certain date. It escapes me, and I'm not gonna, since we're public, I'm not gonna make up a date. I know that it's probably another year or so out, but there is a definite due date for spending that money. So
Okay, because we were working on that MOU a year ago.
Yeah, kind of FYI, the board had asked us to take a look at those agreements, and there's like 4 of them, 70s and up to 2013 or 11, and there might have been the last one. And they all connect, so they don't replace each other, they just all connect. So it's kind of a cumbersome kind of set of documents. And we went through it and we listed out a lot of things that we thought were pertinent that should continue on, and where things were maybe didn't need to, we didn't really address those. But there's a document out there. It's online as far as the minutes, I think, somewhere out there that says, here's all the things that BNF is recommending to take a look at. Obviously, when that's done, a big part of that is you need attorneys. Attorneys need to jump in and take a look at the language. Is the language, sure, the language from the seventies to now.
Yeah.
In legal terms has changed.
Yeah, right.
So they'll have to address those kind of things, but it's a combination of taking a business look and also taking a attorney look
Yeah.
for both sides, for the fire department and for.
Yeah, I've been through those documents as well, and before we get too far into the weeds, let's just agree that that is gonna be a topic of conversation at some point here in the future, based on the timing of other things that would influence whether or not we're gonna do something with the MOU. All right, so any other issues? So I will let you know as soon as we get the information back from the volunteer fire department about the contributions to the reserve funding. And we'll take it from there. Okay, if I don't get it back, I'm certainly, and what I'll do is I'll put it on the agenda next month so that we can report back to everybody. Okay. So the next item on the agenda.
I think John wants to jump in.
I'm sorry.
I think John wants to jump in on the fire department.
Oh, I don't see John on our screen
Can
here.
you see me? I can see Brian. I can't see you. Can you see
Oh,
me?
Yeah,
Yeah, we can't
John.
see you, John.
Nobody sees me?
Nope. We can
I
hear
see
you.
John.
Brian, you
I
can
see
see.
him. I can see you.
Yeah, I guess for some reason in the room you can't see me, but everybody else can.
Now we hear you.
Okay, well, go
Okay,
ahead, John.
so at least you can hear me. All right, so Steve's here. Steve's gonna shimmy up to the microphone here. He's gonna tell you what we just received from the fire department answering Doug's question about the contribution. So we did, Doug, when you asked me the other day, I had Mark send out, Steve wasn't here. Steve got the stuff and he's gonna give you and your committee an update on the contributions.
Very
Steve?
good. Thank you.
So the current balance, guys, we have $1,121,640 in the reserve account. They are taking our money that we give to them monthly, which is $16,302.67. They gave me proof that they've put it in there through March each month that we submit it. So we submit them a check, which is broken down into capital as well as operating. They, back in November, contributed the full amount for FY 22-23 of $151,020. They have not yet submitted what they need to do to match us for this fiscal year, 23-24. They owe us $195,632. So once they do that, we are at a roughly $1.4 million. And I also have that updated cash flow schedule to show where that 1.4 million is and where our purchases are in the future that I can share with you guys.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you, Steve. So I guess I'm not disappointed or concerned, just sort of noted that in the meeting that Dick and Brian and I had, part of the discussion was offering to them consideration for making monthly contributions versus a single annual contribution, because the compound on the interest would yield more money, throughout that 12-month period. And they said, yeah, they thought that was a good idea, but obviously there's some other factors here that are preventing them from doing that. I don't understand why. Maybe I misunderstood it, but certainly I was under the impression that they agreed that monthly contributions to the reserve fund would help increase cash, over a 12-month period based on compounding interest, based on a pretty large balance of at least right now $1.1 million. So I guess maybe I am a little disappointed that they're not continuing to do that. But hey, the MOU states that that's part of it, and I certainly think we can come to some sort of agreement with them. But I guess the idea would be, can we say to them that they have to have a monthly contribution? Can they wait until the end? I guess so. Maybe that's another reason why the MOU needs to be maybe more specific. I don't recall specifically. I know they have to make contribution. I don't recall if the language said on a monthly basis. So we'll follow up on that.
Okay.
All right. Any other question?
Can you send that report out to us?
Yeah, Steve, are you going to send the report to the BNF committee?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, John, yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions about the volunteer fire department reserve contribution? All right, we'll close the floor for that part of our agenda and move into the review and discussion of the March 2024 financials. the floor is open for any comments, questions, while we have both John and Steve available. Okay, I'll start. I had a question under expenses in the tennis. It shows that there was about $7,173 under budget in services and supplies. Is that something that, that should be called to our attention? Because the expenses, in other words, we were under expense by that. Is there something that we're not doing that we should be doing, or is that just the results of an efficiency that was gained?
It's gonna hit, the budget's gonna hit.
So Steve's gonna talk to you about the timing. But if you look at if you look at the year-to-date actual and budget, actual is way higher than the budget. And so there's a lot of timing there, but I'm gonna let Steve talk to you about the resurfacing and all that stuff now. Steve?
Okay,
Yeah, so the resurfacing, I believe, started last weekend.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's basically, when we allocated the expenses to the budget, we had previously, I guess, paid the first part of that, which isn't occurring until April this year. So that's the.
So it's
that's the
timing.
main driver.
It's timing.
Timing.
So it's
Okay.
timing for BNF, but overall, Steve, in general, compared to the budget, do you believe we're gonna be?
So we are gonna be a little bit over probably in services and supplies, driven by some supply purchases. But we'll probably be a few $1,000s over in terms of expenses for tennis.
So that's pretty much the best way to summarize it, Doug.
yeah, so the expense was handled in a previous month and it just shows up now timing wise. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Right, and then he's gonna have some in, this is what, March, he's gonna have it in April, because like we said, ATC is down there now as we speak. They were working on it on Saturday. So we'll get more update. So you're gonna have some expense in April, probably more than budget.
So then while we're, the other one I looked at was both pickleball and platform. The wages were a little bit under what was budgeted. Is that any kind of concern, or is there a position that we need a part-time to be filled, or is that something that's just part of, the running of the facility?
Yeah, the driver is the seasonality of the timing of the year. The budget wasn't, I guess, a perfect science, honestly, to be honest, in terms of allocating the wage expenses for those two sports. So we'll probably
Okay.
catch them better next year, but that's favorability. That's true favorability.
True favorability, Doug, if you didn't hear it.
Yeah,
Okay.
done? I got a few more, but go ahead, Don.
Oh, you got more?
Go ahead.
No, keep.
On the financial report on the operating results, the yacht club has rebates of 19,000. Is that, might be a combination of both, but is that a yearly number, or is that gonna rebate every month, or is it just both a combination?
First, it's 42,000. Hold on. So I reported on Saturday, 42,000. I'm just asking, it's 42,000, right? It's 42,000 for the month.
Rebates?
Now, it's not for the month. That's what was reported.
On the operating results for revenue, it says yacht club rebates 19,200.
If you go to the detail, it has 42,000 on it.
Right.
Correct. There was two rebates, one for 19 and I believe one for another 23. Equals the 42,364.
So,
You see as a credit and cost of sales.
right. So 42,000 in cost of sales. Steve, do you know what time period that those credits are for?
I mean, it relates to the entire fiscal year.
Right.
So it's.
So to answer the question, obviously those are not monthly. I wish they were, but that's for the entire fiscal year. For some reason, he got them then. And that's when they
always get to
reported
the
them.
End of the year.
That's in the end of the year.
Good. On that same page, there's $43,000 under budget for the police department. Are we understaffed still there, or is that?
Yes, so you are right. So it's a mix, but you're right. We still are understaffed. We updated on that at the board meeting. We did just bring on board a certified officer, and we're very excited about that. And Rick and the board did a great, swearing in with the chief. We still are under, we're hoping to send 2 or 3 to the next academy, with the chief. And what I'm saying is we're hoping to be staffed in a year and a half.
Okay, how many are you short right now, John? 1 or 2?
No. So probably just off the top of my head, we're probably at 9, 16 is full. So another certified, we're hoping to have within the next couple of weeks, months or whatever. And then hopefully 2 academies of
Good.
lower levels. But yeah, we're somewhere around 9 without me, having a specific in front of my head. We're 9 out of 16,
Good, nice.
Dick,
maybe 10,
So-
10.
So along those lines on the vendor rebate, so I'm on the yacht club page in the packet. And I do see the vendor rebates of $42,000. And then I'm seeing facility rentals that still show $56,000 of actuals. I think the vendor rebates are up on that line at one point in time, I think. So if they're down below now, what are those rental revenues?
Right, so I'll answer that. So what about, was there rebates that were up in that line?
Yeah, we reclassed again.
Yeah, that was Ralph. So, okay, so first of all, the rentals are pure rentals. You are right from my recollection. I believe when Ralph, a while ago, maybe a year or 2 years ago, they had it there, but Steve reclasses it down. So
Which
it
is
was
good, that's
there
good.
at one point, like a year ago or 2 years ago, one time when he did it. But Steve took care of that and reclassed it, and this time he made sure it was in cost of sales.
So it sounds like when we have a banquet for like a wedding, there's obviously a rental portion of that contract. For revenues, I guess that's going up. That's what's feeding that, I would guess.
Yeah, yep, Dave answered that in the past, correct. That's how they do it.
I got one more under aquatics, good news, looking at on the revenue side, it's almost $9,000 above, favorable to budget. And the expenses are, $30,000 favorable to the budget. Is it just good use of the facility? Is there something timing wise there? Is that a trend that we're looking at, or is that sort of a one-time thing based on the usage of the facility during this past month?
It's Michelle. She's a rock star. No, credit to Michelle. I mean, we were looking at that. There were programs. There was a couple other things. And yeah, on the expenses, there's been some good work there. Lessons, the parties are back, but it was the lessons. We were trying to grow that. She brought in an instructor or something. So yeah, it's all good. We're moving in the right direction, certainly down there as well as just about everywhere else. Credit to Michelle and her staff, and obviously Linda was down there for 6 months, so.
And my last comment, if you look at golf, the revenue continues upwards, and it basically, this report supports what the GM reported at the board meeting, and that is golf is doing quite well. And hopefully that upward trend continues, but I think it was very noticeable in this month's budget report about the fact that the golf operation is very sustainable and certainly in the black.
It's the economic engine that's driving the results of Ocean Pines, along with everybody else, operating on all cylinders. Profit, Steve had just let me know, and I did talk about this Saturday. The forecast for this year is profitable even after depreciation. Steve, how much? 40, 50?
Yeah, roughly.
Roughly 40,000 is the forecast that we worked on for this year, which obviously ends April 30th. Even after we subtract out depreciation of like 370 or something like that. Yeah, just like as we committed to. I don't know about 40,
Other
but we
question.
committed to be profitable.
I just had a question on golf ops. It's, member dues, that includes the cart fee memberships too, doesn't it?
Wait, isn't it, wait, unless I misheard you, George, there's 2 separate lines, right? Hold on, let me get there.
Well, no, you got cart fees. That's
So
not,
what's he asking?
you have member dues. So Does that?
Okay,
include
hold
the
on,
cart
Steve,
package?
Steve, hold on, Steve's gonna answer, he heard what you said. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay,
Right, right.
You want to consolidate one?
So the member fees just does not include the carts. I mean, we've gone through it now. Still trying to get to the golf course schedule. So that'd be- So, you know, that's who was calling last night. I didn't know it was him. He text messaged me last night.
Question, I'm not sure.
in the member dues, okay, year to date, actual 180,000. Does that include, there's two memberships there. There's the membership packet for the golf, and then you can include the cart package. Which, I don't remember what that is. Is that included total in members, or is that in cart fees? Not sure it makes a difference.
I guess
I'm just curious.
Yeah, the question asked in different ways. What makes up member dues?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, is it the membership to the golf course plus the cart fee? Is the cart fee handled differently somewhere else and it's just the membership to the golf course itself?
Yeah.
John, did you hear that question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got two conversations, but Steve heard you. I mean, we've got, God, Steve, tell him. I'm trying to still find the schedule.
Yeah, so the member utilize any of the, you buy the yearly card.
Come closer. They're gonna say they can't hear you.
Yeah,
If
go
you
ahead.
buy the yearly membership for card fees, it goes in card fees. The member dues only is the utilization of the court membership.
Okay.
Course membership.
That sounds broken down. Okay.
Okay, well, then here's another question, because I'm looking at the green fees, year to date, 774,000.
So that's when you just go and sign for the day, right?
In
Yeah,
cart-
so the member dues or the memberships, the green fees is when if somebody from the outside went in there today and they played and they paid, I don't know, $50 or $100, that goes into green fees. If they paid for a cart, then whatever they paid for the cart out of that 100 would go into the cart fees.
Okay, so just to clarify for my own edification. If somebody, the portion of the green fees is entirely the green fees. So let's say that it's $60 to play around the golf with a cart. So you separate that out and,
Correct, and we have to, because on the cart fees, I believe we pay some type of tax. So, right, so if they go in there and it's $60 and the cart is $20 and the green fees is 40 for the day, 40 to the green fees, 20 to the cart.
okay, well, okay.
Did that answer your question? Or-
Yeah, it answers the question. I just
Yeah,
find it an odd differential there.
so the
cart
member
fees
dues, the only thing I can do on
are
the
so
member
low
dues
and green fees are so
Yeah, I
high.
mean,
is because of the cart fee, they have to pay the tax,
I
right?
mean, the reality is, from a budgetary standpoint, I think you're looking at the 100,000 favorability year to date in card fees versus kind of flat in greens fees. So we probably need to look at that allocation as, I think what George is saying.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
that's just spreading, that's spreading.
And again, maybe it's no big deal. I just look at it and I
Oh,
card.
it's something,
I don't know.
George, you're right.
Okay.
George, you are right. Steve, let's just, you got it, you very good point. Let's try to get it corrected this year. Okay.
Hey, John, this is Brian. How's the interface to the Easy Links coming with North Star?
And Brian,
Doesn't that would play into this question, right? If we're getting good numbers from Easy Links, they should be, dropping right into the different categories and maybe provide a little firmer number for those.
so first of all, excellent question. Let me break it down into two. Regardless if it was an interface or not, we got the right numbers in there.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we might have budgeted for them, not ideal.
Mhm.
But since you brought up the Easy Links, I mean, this is a better time than now. And compliments to you for bringing it up. We worked on it. We were successful. I was very excited, as you know, and something I want. And I asked a basic question to the North Star team was, do you have approval from Easy Links to do this?
Hmm.
And unfortunately, I didn't get the answer
Right.
that I was hoping for. So let's leave that as a work in process on their end. I can
Okay.
assure you, Brian, and this committee, that our team, looking at Steve to get the bobblehead, our team has done everything and we will be ready when they get to where we're at, because I want this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's on their end. I think what happened was their techies might have been talking to the other techies and nobody was talking to something else, but that's on their end. I don't want to even have conjecture. It's all
Okay,
good though.
great.
Yeah.
Thanks for the update. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and a good question.
Another question,
Was
George?
just any update on the irrigation study, John? For the golf course?
So we're still on track. What I've presented, the biggest piece, and so nothing's changed. I may probably have something in a couple months, maybe, or Justin, something different. Right now, it's all focused mostly on the pump stations. I know we were buying some of the material and all that, and we're still on track for November, but nothing different that I've been updated on as far as for this year.
Thank you.
But we will, as soon as we get something different, I'll bring Justin in.
All right. Any other questions regarding review of the March 24 financials?
Don, or Steve, on the other costs on Yacht Club, the 575,000, I understand is Matador.
We
And
pay
I-
Matt Ort, right, we pay Matt Ort $500,000 a year. That's what we pay Matt. So
Okay,
that's,
but I went by the agreement and just kind of put the numbers together, and I'm sure I'm not perfectly accurate, but I came up with about 450,000 instead of 575. And I know you guys are right on the numbers. So just asking, is that?
oh, again, we're forecasting. I'll let Steve jump in. He has been adjusting, and did you put an adjustment? What about the accounting? What does that go?
Accounting's in there.
So that's why too, Don, if you're trying to do the math, and I'm glad you are, please do. It doesn't include the accounting. We pay the accounting fees for them also, which is how much now, Steve? 12?
16,000.
So now it's 16,000.
The biggest insurance.
Plus the insurance. So it won't come out exactly to the contract, but the contract number, what is it, 480 or 500 in total?
Yeah.
So it's in that ballpark. We'll finish it up in the next month or two. But the contract, what we pay Matt Ort for him, 480 to 500.
Okay.
George, you had something?
Yeah, going to the Matt Orb reports. Just looking down through those and the event schedule, I noticed he has nothing booked in August. So I don't know if that's a concern or it matters.
So seems consistent with other years. Steve's writing it down as we speak. He is now to follow up with Matt. I think we had this last time too.
Yeah,
No, you're right. You're right.
A couple of questions last time, it looked like we.
Same question.
They filled in, but August still looks open.
We will follow up and appreciate the diligence.
All right.
How
Any
about
other,
that grill? How about that grill? Nobody's gonna ask me questions about the golf grill, or you all?
good? Yeah,
Good.
good. What'd you say? It's good? It's good. Yeah. I mean,
Awesome. Awesome. That's
Way
half
above.
the operational profit of what the yacht club is showing. That's just golf driven, another side effect of the performance of golf. Just like the beach club, as we all know, if I shut down the pool, or we, not I, they don't do any business at the beach club. And both are booming because of aquatics and golf. And of course, the Matt Ort Company and the terrific service.
Yeah, I had a question on the Matt Ort stuff as well. So on the yacht club, and the repairs and maintenance, looks like year to year, they spend a fair amount of money under that category, 40,000 versus 38,000. But when we do repairs for them, that's not on their reports, right? That's on our reports and not on theirs when?
So,
Public Works-
yeah, it's all answered. That's an excellent who's that? Dick, that's an excellent question. We obviously should do, we always talk about that. So we do the repairs, we pay for the repairs, depending on what the repairs are. Some we take ourselves. Not much gets put through on his end. That is something we're looking at, just like the marketing where we are now. They will be charged for the marketing. So a lot of those repairs did not go through the P&L. We charged them somewhere else.
So it must be the repairs that they have there are probably contracts for their equipment and things like that, maybe, or?
So pronouns and everything, everything's ours. Everything is ours. If we have the contracts, it goes under that, but everything's ours. It's basically a turnkey for him. He walks in and he's going to perform a food and beverage, but everything else is us. We take care of everything. And that was apparently agreement in the beginning. So if something breaks, I being defined as Ocean Pines, we pay for it. Or replacement. He doesn't get charged for rent. He doesn't get charged for food. They don't get charged for that stuff.
John, the 40,000 for insurance on there, is that his insurance or is that ours?
It's his workers' comp and, it's not the property. We
Right.
pay the property.
So, right, we pay the insurance. When we give the updates on the insurance, we pay all that, but he has his own insurance as well as what, but then that gets flowed through to us.
Correct.
So that gets, so even though he has his own policies, that flows through to us. That would be in the P&L as an expense.
But there's no double coverage, like we're paying for his building insurance and he's paying or workers' comp and our.
No. And trust me, we went through this in the very beginning. There's no doubling up. Steve's smiling because he knows I'm gonna look at him and he's gonna confirm it. There is no doubling up. But he does have his own insurance for his own liability, right? Because I've seen that, and we made sure in the beginning he had that, but anything else is ours or we pay for it. Does that flow
Okay.
through the P&L? And that flows through the P&L.
If somebody falls down and breaks their arm, do we pay for that in our insurance or does he pay for that?
Hold on one second. Let me just think about
Baseball.
this. So I can tell this committee this is that it is always reviewed when there is a situation. We review it with them, and so do the insurance companies, but it all depends. But it is reviewed by both sides, but it depends on the coverage and the policies.
Situationalized.
A situation, you want to use that word, that's fine.
Yeah, situationalized. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is reviewed. I can tell the committee this, Steve,
George,
that it is reviewed, because I get updates on it.
going to the Parks and Rec report. First of all, thanks for getting these to us. We appreciate it, Steve.
I don't know.
Parks and Rec is doing well, thanks, and, congrats to Deb. But a couple things, on grants, we had a budget of 20K and we've only received about 3,000. Is that about it for the year or is there?
Tourism, right? So again, I mean, I believe we budgeted correctly this year. We, in the past, received some grant money from the county that we don't receive anymore. So it's not like it's coming this month, to answer your question, which is spot on. That's a variance that unfortunately, we don't get that grant anymore. And I don't believe we budgeted for it in the coming year, correct? Correct. Yeah,
Wage and benefits, we're in good shape there. We're almost 99,000 to the plus. Were we understaffed or what?
so right now we're full staff. Right? So right now we're full staff. We were short staffed there for a while, you're right, 1 or 2 positions. Right now, before we start gearing up for the summer, my last update was we were fully staffed. We did have a few openings though. One person moved, another person got a position, I believe, with the county or Ocean City. So we did have some openings that were both filled as of now.
Other questions on the March financials?
Yeah, I have a final question. So on the balance sheet, under unappropriated prior year retained earnings of 2455. I apologize. I didn't go back and look at the budget to see what was earmarked to go to next year's budget, but, and maybe you don't have this at your fingertip, but if you take the amount that's earmarked for next year's budget out of that, what kind of number are we carrying there? Do we know that now? At this
Yeah, we
moment?
do know it. Yeah, but now he wants to know what the balance is.
So then we're gonna get another 1.1,
Yeah, so what's in there now?
2.5 million.
Is in there now before this year's?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty much straightforward on their deck, but it's a good question because you're right, we did allocate money. So I don't have a balance sheet in front of me. Steve just told me there's 2.5. That sounds right to me. I have an analysis on this. We utilized 900,000 as I updated everybody when we did the budget thing, the whole process. And right now we're favorable, somewhere around $1 million. So once we close out this year, obviously that would become a part of it. But I've done all this. I have analysis on this. We've gone through it, but I'd be glad to go through it every time. And what I've said on this, please, so let's write this down, is I've talked about this several times. We need to go through the DMA study. We need to find out where we are on that before we have any ideas on this stuff, all right?
I agree. I think
Thank you.
a good look at DMA to see where
Right,
we may have a need
Right.
is appropriate.
exactly.
Okay.
Uncharted waters, I believe, I know we're positioned better than we were 5-7 years ago. However, it's uncharted waters. I do not know, or none of us know what's gonna come out of this study. You know, from this last legislation or whatever, you know, just like what we did last time, and Doug and several of you were there with me, I believe Dick was, George, all of you actually. Over time, we had a plan, right? 5 years, and we've built it up and we've got there. It'll probably be the same thing if they come in, if they say that we're underfunded, then obviously there would be some type of plan that we would work with BNF and everybody else to come up with, if.
Yeah, John and I have talked about that word,
Right.
underfunded. And how they arrive at such a, such a number, but
Right.
we'll have to wait and see.
Right, but the fact that we did this study, right, what was the first one back in Steve, what was your first year here? 16?
2008.
Right, 17, right. So 2017, we started it. A lot of you were there with me. Credit to the board, credit everybody. I mean, I know JB was involved with that one. I was pretty impressed that he had background in it. That got us to where we are today, plus that DMA, what I called light a couple of years ago. I know a lot of you were on that too. So that's helped us. And that's why I feel better. We're ahead of other homeowners associations, but I just want to make sure everybody understands what I mean, that we've already done work. I don't know what they're going to come up with.
That's the great unknown. All right.
But we will
other-
be prepared as far as paperwork, as far as scrubbing our asset list and everything like that. And as you know, with the last promotion I made, Eddie Wells, along with Linda, Steve, and several others, we're going to be working on that before they even get in November.
All right, final questions on the review of the March 24 budget. All right, I'm gonna close the floor for that. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, John.
Hey, Doug, if I can,
Well, we are moving into other comments and questions as the next agenda item, so please, you're up.
oh, me, oh, thank you. So Camille's left. So one of the, we reviewed all our fleet of trucks, cars and all that, and we took it down 5. And then we utilized out of that 5, 3 to increase the police, and there were trucks that were there that, we had to act on, and we got them at a good price. And not only that, we were able to get trucks during a period when it was very difficult to get trucks. And we just received trucks now that we ordered and got approval for 2 years ago? So with that said, I do have this Sport Track, and Linda will send you all the information from the DMA. We have a Sport Track Ford out there, 4-door pickup. It's over, what's the year on it? It's over 2005. I was out there, it's tilted, the tires are bald. I asked Noby to go and look into and see if there are any trucks available. He did come back the other night and called me and he told me there were two that he could possibly get. It's not the exact truck, but I believe some diversity in the fleet, especially that we carpool the fleet up here now, unlike in the past. So I am going to be coming forward to B&F with it, hopefully for approval. I'm looking at a smaller truck and possibly a two-door, a Ford. They have the Bronco two-door versus this four-door Sport Track. So it's fully depreciated. We're looking at what the value is, so I can come up with a net number. Are you all okay with me going forward on that?
Yeah, John, I would assume it's gonna be a new truck rather than a used truck.
Oh, it's a
correct?
new truck. No, new truck.
Okay.
I'm not gonna,
Right.
yeah, it's a new truck. It's a truck we can utilize a little differently. Look, I don't know if it's gonna, we're looking at the four-door and the two-door. Obviously, the two-door is cheaper, 10,000, they're telling me. I don't know if I need, there's a little diversity in there. A lot of times, I'm driving around one person or Linda or CPI. So I'm gonna I asked nobody to price both of them. They do have them. He's working with two different dealers and we're hoping to get a good price. But as soon as I get that, I am going to come forward to you all because I don't want to, I don't want to put more money in the other truck. The trucks, we had to put a lot of money in the trucks, as you know, for the ones that were 2 years before we got them. I don't want to do that again. All right. You okay with me going forward?
Yeah, please, George.
John, just to clarify, that Sport Track you're talking about, is that for Public Works or is that the one for the police or which one is that?
Yeah, so, and again, now I pulled the trucks here. This truck is here. It's not for the police. It's for CPI mostly uses it.
Okay,
Rec and Parks, if they need to put something in there, we pull the trucks up here, but it's not police.
okay, I just want to make sure.
No, police has plenty of trucks over there.
I think police have a Sport Track, so I just wanted to make sure I was putting it right in the minute.
Did you say it
Thank
was
you.
in there by mistake one time? George, interesting. Linda, when I asked her to look this up, she did say at one point it was in there. We don't know why years ago.
Yeah.
You know what it might be, but he doesn't have a Sport Track. LT has a pickup. I don't know if it's getting mixed up, but you're right.
Okay.
This truck for some reason years ago might have been on the police. Linda's going like this. Yeah, it shouldn't have been there. I don't know why.
Okay,
Before me.
I just want in the minutes have which truck we're talking about. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, George.
Oh, you're all in there, right? You're in this building? It's out there, right? If you want to take a peek at it. It's on the other side of the parking lot. Check out the front tires and stuff.
Are you gonna take it to auction?
Eddie would, yes, we are,
Yeah.
gonna, but that's the plan.
You make it
Yeah,
No, please, I gotta get the truck. I don't
10
want
cents
that.
on the dollar.
You made it.
I'm not saying it's a bad truck. I'm not.
Take it
Believe
to
me,
auction.
there's value.
George gave you a bid.
George wants a truck.
Oh, you
All
want
right,
a truck?
so,
We'll give you a good deal.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
John, thank you for that information. Hey, Brian, under the, since we're on the other comments and questions, the email that you sent, I think you want to mention that, please?
Yeah, sure. Last month, we talked about, as we normally do, we talked about the other cost category. And I think we gave you an action for working up a detailed schedule for us. Is that I would think it would be great if you could have it for us for the year end. I don't think we need it right now, but just following up on that one action.
The GM is in big time favor of this. I've always had something like that. When I was in corporate reporting a long time ago, I always had to. Steve actually says he has something, but to answer your question, yes, you'll have it for the year end.
Okay, excellent.
He's writing it down as we speak,
Great.
but he
Thank
has
you.
been, he's been breaking it down.
Yeah.
I agree.
The other item was getting the supplemental reports for the Rex and Parks. So we got that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep.
And that is all I think I had listed.
Yeah, two things. Hey, George?
John, last month I brought up the guardrails for the bridge that the state required. And you were gonna check into it, so I'm bringing it up again.
No, and rightfully so. And Eddie was just here this morning. Just we'll call Eddie after this. So we have looked into it. We don't have it. I don't think anything is pressing right now that we have to have it. I think Eddie was waiting for them to come back on something. Let me just check if they did or they didn't.
So it's a recommendation from the state, it's not a requirement.
So that's the part. I'll be honest, in the beginning, it did sound like it was a requirement, and then let me just let us,
Okay,
nobody's pressing us on it, so I haven't, but if you want me to follow up, I'll follow up, but nobody's pressing us on it.
okay. Just me.
Do you want me to follow up? You want me to, yeah?
Well, I think we should
All right,
find
that's
out
fine.
if it's a
All right.
requirement.
Yeah.
Just call as soon as it's over, so we don't. All right.
Yeah.
I think
Anything
I
else?
think it's like $40,000.
Yeah, I know it's not cheap.
All right, I got, unless there's nothing else, I've got one more, just an FYI that we've had interest from two individuals for submitting applications to join the committee. One of the things that Dick called me yesterday, we chatted about this, and my style has always been, I'd rather have them talk to one or two members of the committee. So, you know, we have a perspective from you guys. So I'll be reaching out to you to try to coordinate somebody talking to these individuals besides myself, so that I get a, sort of a more of a well-rounded perspective on things. And then we, with targeting, it's a soft target of June, to maybe, if we want to fill the position by then. So we've got two applications right now.
Okay.
So again, what I'll do is coordinate with you guys and maybe, to reach out, chat with them, and then we can reconvene and discuss, best way to move forward. Okay,
That's
so
what,
that will be on, it may make it to the board by June, no commitments just yet, but clearly that's like I said, I'll use it as a soft target.
okay.
All right, other comments and situations? Very good. If not, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Thank you. Don Bonifati, thank you. I did notice you were in attendance, so thank you very much
Yeah.
for being there.